Today I'm going to show you my favourite mods that don't change the game too much, but I like to run almost every time I play, and all of these work great together. I just quickly wanted to say, if you are new around here, consider subscribing, and if you do enjoy my videos and want to support me, consider becoming a member for perks like a special Discord rank and chat room, and a thank you at the end of every video. First up, clear notifications. I really don't think I could play the game without this mod anymore. It just makes your life so much easier. It's simple but effective. You literally just have to click F and it will clear every notification on your screen. Sometimes while at war, I might move my army all the way to the right by missing the clear notifications button. This just completely fixes that, and it's probably the most essential mod for me. Resizable Events allows you to, well, resize events, but it does also include nameplates, which is another great mod that displays characters' names over their portrait. It does have a few different options, such as compact mode, which will make the pop-up a lot smaller, and an option to force compact mode during war, so annoying pop-ups don't take up half your screen during important battles. My favorite setup with this mod is on the default view with the big option enabled. This will show you all the different outcomes of an option without the need to hover over each one, and it just looks great, to be honest. The last view is a full screen option, but I never really use this option, but I'm sure some of you might. Extended Outlier is another quality of life mod that makes pinning characters actually way more useful, quickly allowing you to see their health, opinion of you, and their current army size. Also, under the armies tab, you can see every separate army you have raised and easily track what they're doing, with small icons showing you if they're currently moving, their total size, and their overall quality. And lastly, the Domains Holdings tab will include each domain's current tax and levy size, and a progress bar showing any current construction. 99 immersive loading screens is a mod I've always seen but never bothered with until it was suggested to me over on my Discord. While it's a pretty simple mod you only really see when you're loading up the game, it includes, well, 99 images that fit the theme of the game perfectly, and honestly they all look amazing. There's not really much to say about it other than they look good. Knight Manager is a must-have mod if you don't want literally everybody dying because you forgot to check who your knights are. Yes, that amazing steward you just married into your court who brings you loads of tax decided to become a knight, and well, got crushed by somebody who can actually fight. So with this mod you get 8 different boxes to check if you want them to be allowed to fight. Like the one I mentioned, I always just uncheck my council, as I'd rather keep my councillors safe and usually my heir if they are good, otherwise I'll just let them run into battle and die. You do have more general ones like your dynasty members, all of your children and family spouses, which includes yours and any partners of your children. The other two is Bad Fighter, which will stop people with 6 prowess and less fighting. Then you got Average Fighter, which will stop people 13 and below fighting. So you just have many options here to take control of your knights much faster than vanilla. Starting in 867 is pretty much guaranteed border gore. Luckily we have the East Francia inheritance fix. All it does is change Ludwig's main title to Bavaria over East Francia. So when he dies, his older son will inherit Bavaria, seemingly helping everybody stay happier as one. But if you do plan to take advantage of Europe exploding into 1,000 different counties, then sadly, this mod will probably not be for you. Number 7, we have Submission to Authority, which makes the relationship between vassals and their liege a lot more dynamic, with new modifiers to keep track of. First is the submission value, which will depend on your government type. As for feudal, it's based off their contract, and the more it favours their liege, the higher the submission value will be. For clans, you just need a good relationship, and tribal rulers respect fame and fair lieges. The other mechanic is authority. That's mostly based off their submission and how much of their liege's land they directly control. Another big change is your authority level can't be changed by a click of a button. It will tick each quarter of the year either up or down depending on the previous values, and where the red line is, that's where it will generally tilt to. I just think it makes the game a lot more interesting with just a little bit more to manage. Prisoners of War is another amazing mod where prisoners captured during a siege won't just magically teleport to the other side of the world. Instead, they will be attached to that army until the army reaches friendly territory. This makes war just so much more fun by giving you more to think about, as you may capture someone important and decide it's best to return home with them. As if you're attacked and lose a battle, the prisoners will be freed, or vice versa. If an enemy captures your heir, you can chase them down in an attempt to free them, and prisoners can easily be tracked as armies will have a new icon, showing if they have them, and if you hover over the army, it will show who they have captured. Terms and conditions may apply makes negotiating your contract more dynamic, giving you different results between every vassal, based off their traits, and sometimes this can really be used to your advantage. As if you have a greedy vassal, you can max level their levy contribution for a small decrease to their gold. As well as traits affecting their willingness to change certain things, you will no longer be capped to 1 change per negotiation, allowing you to have more control over each discussion. And if you set your chancellor to domestic affairs, They will automatically negotiate the contract of non-powerful vassals, which is an incredibly great feature that can maximize your authority without having to manage each and every contract. And you will get a notification mentioning if they successfully managed to update the contract and what that included. Farewell Chaplin is another one of my all-time favourite mods, as it's such a pain being stuck with a priest on your council that has the IQ of a toddler. And there's not much other than murder you can really do about it. Well, this gives you a chance of getting a better one without being a completely broken OP mod, which is why I think it's so perfect. You pay between 150 and 250 piety, and then 2 characters will appear, giving you the choice to select either, and their cost ranges from 30 to 75 gold, depending on how high their learning skill is. And if you decide to go with neither, your head of faith will lose 15 opinion of you, and you can only use this decision every 10 years. Sue for Peace kind of differs slightly from my original point of not really being game-changing mod, but I still really enjoy using it, and I still think it's a perfect fit for this list. Basically, giving you the chance to offer land, let vassals go or transfer in them. Another part I really like is taking claims from them. And the last section, Treaties, has 12 different options, such as vassalizing them if you have the Diplomat perk, or war reparations for greedy characters all the way down to Humiliation, which loses them 1 level of fame and affecting their dynasty fame too. The main reason I like to run this mod so often is due to the fact you have more reasons to go to war, as you may want to gain something specific that you can't normally just achieve in vanilla. Title ranked portrait borders is a fairly simple mod. It will just outline each character's portraits in the menus with a border that will correlate to their rank, such as gold for a king, blue for a duke, or bronze for a count, and a mix between purple and gold for an emperor. It's just nice to look at a character and instantly be able to identify their rank. There is also a version that is Iron Man mode compatible, the only difference being characters with tall headgear will overlap the border. Better Battles is a mod that only takes effect if you personally are commanding an army, and will give you a variety of event pop-ups that include things like capturing an heir, and giving you the choice to instantly end a war, or needing to fight off a bunch of enemies, and sometimes one of your knights may die, and you can have the chance to avenge them by killing the enemy, or dying yourself. Of course, a lot of these are mostly based off your prowess, but if you have a low prowess, you probably shouldn't be commanding an army anyway. I feel like if you like to roleplay, this is the perfect mod to make some battles stand out from others, and some of these events can drastically alter your circumstances. More Traits Commander has many new traits to people around the world, giving you more of a choice on who you want to lead your armies into battle. There's 9 basic level traits, with Explorer granting higher movement speed and a minus 50% attrition. And the 5 advanced skills typically give boost to a certain type of unit, but the best ones are veteran level commander traits and are much harder to come by. And this can only be achieved once a character is over 40 years of age. There's 6 of these in total, all of them will give a plus 10 martial and various other boosts, such as Veteran Templar, giving an advantage against hostile faiths, and Veteran Champion, which adds a massive 50% movement speed. It's a nice mod to add as you get used to seeing the same traits over and over again. So at least with this mod, there's more strategy and variety while selecting your army commanders. Vassals to Arms will send a message to the vassals of a defender in a war, and depending on various factors like if they would stand to lose land, they may or may not join, or if their liege was going to change to somebody of a hostile faith. This just makes so much more sense over the base game AI behaviour, as it makes no sense for somebody to just sit by and watch their liege get destroyed by somebody if it's going to cost them land. So of course they would raise their men in an attempt to stop this from happening. This will make attacking other kingdoms much harder, as you'll most likely end up fighting more than one ruler, but on the other hand, it will definitely help you defend your own kingdom against invasions. And the last thing I'd like to mention about this mod is character traits will also help in deciding if they join in or not, with brave vassals much more likely to help than lazy and content vassals. Another one of those mods that just makes perfect sense as a base game feature. Last up, we have Invite Custom Character, that allows you to take a decision to send a messenger to ride off in an attempt to find you somebody that fits your criteria, with factors like their culture, religion, gender, age, and what education should they have. The more specific and better you want a character, the more time it will take, the more it will cost, and the more likely that the messenger will come back empty-handed, unable to find such a good character. Which is a nice way to balance this, as it can be extremely helpful in filling a council position, although not every character will be excellent. And just because they have an education and a specific skill, it may still be terrible. I just want to say thank you for watching, and clearly I've got a cold, that's why my voice is a bit different, but I want to end the video by saying a massive thank you to all the channel members. We've got Bayek Von Quark, Arcane Fusion, Damien, Intermio1 and Irrelevant. Your support is massively appreciated, but thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.